Good evening, good afternoon, good night. This is WWIII podcast, and I'm your host, Hypocritical Cynic, and I got a show for you tonight. Well, this morning, evening, or night, you know what I'm saying. But I am your host, the Hypocritical Cynic, and you can contact me at WWIII podcast for coaching, life coaching, writing muse, writing assistant, speeches, anything like that. Holler at me if y'all need anything in the way of producing. Contact VI Coders producer WWWIII. You know, from anything from music to movies, it don't matter. Music, one song covers, all the way to mixtapes, all the way to full LPs, movies. He can do a professional media skit that you want uploaded for the world to see, all the way to a 3-hour movie. Bring your idea, your skit, your script, your writers, or just bring a dream. He gonna make it happen for you. When you get through hollering at him at Vipushupfilms@gmail.com. Go to Instagram and holler at Dirty Kicks. That's DIRTYKICKSSS, 3 S's. And he got you on any shoe you need. Current, classic, color, release date, manufacturer. It don't matter. He got you. With that being said, I'm getting straight into the show. Shout out to Dr. Mumbai for passing on a lot of information. But today, she said something that kind of, it takes my tinfoil hat off, because I don't want to really be, that nail that sticks out that gets hit. I just want people to realize, hey, the possibility is there. And, the thing about the wheel of life is you can't stop it. But this is a lot more finite in the understandings, because I just found out that in July of 2020, France signed a deal with Mozambique for their natural gas fields. All of it. $14.9 billion. That's a finite amount. But somebody in Mozambique signed that. Somebody did. But we're going to get into why. It's a great show. But the UK financed a deal, through France. France is like the stepchild for the UK. That's why they like to fight now. You know what I'm saying? Because they got to do the UK is fighting. Every time it's a war that the UK in, or an alliance with the UK, France going to send some soldiers. And that they, historically, they pass up wars, because of tradition. But basically UK and France will be patrolling the coast of Cabo Delgado. They have outside nationalities working with the drug police in Mozambique. It's horrible. When I had shout out to Dr. Mumbai, but when I read the thing for myself, the whatever they bring into Africa, jobs, medicine, whatever BS they trading, we giving $14.9 billion for whatever they say. I didn't even read it. I thirst for knowledge. When I was reading this article, that I wanted to know more about the reasoning for UK, France, and America to go into Mozambique's natural gas industry, I didn't even read it. It wasn't going to say theft. It wasn't going to say attributed to cooning. It was just going to say whatever. I didn't even read it. But with that being said, this confirms a lot that I've been saying for literally over 20 years now. And I can have people call in. Nobody, really likes to agree with this stuff right here until they actually replay it. But I can have people call in who confirm that I was talking about this for years, man. Years. Yeah, now that the news is on it, and pretty much everybody understands that they're trying to ramp up a war with China and stuff like that. I don't sound so crazy anymore. But, I don't have a tinfoil hat. I got a tinfoil ID. So, you know what I'm saying? I got a whole bunch of theories on different conspiracies and stuff like that, but I don't like to be that nail that sticks up that gets hit the most. You know what I'm saying? But this was inevitable. I was almost surprised. When I first thought about it, I was surprised at the policymakers in general didn't know it. Then I heard Bill Moore say that, you know, we're not mulling over the same facts that they working with in the Oval Office. That kind of helped me. That kind of helped me with the understanding of, you know, channeling my anger towards knowledge instead of trying to be mad they insulting our intelligence. So with that being said, I had to analyze the situation and see that America's trying to go to war with China. I never knew why, but it's starting to make a lot more sense. And the reason we get to see the truth come out is because we standing up against oppression. That's all we doing. People in Mozambique don't fight for the natural oil fields. Don't even fight for them. And definitely don't work for them. Definitely don't work for them. Let them keep whatever job or promise or whatever they talking about, let them keep it. Because they're going to tear that coastline up. They're going to tear where you live up. So you might as well collectivize and move to a better part of Mozambique. Let them work over there in them conditions they're going to put your country in. Let them have those jobs. So I'm going to act like a pathetic prophet right now. You probably not gonna, people from Mozambique probably not gonna get the best jobs when they take over that gas field. I want y'all to notice all the upgrades they do to that gas field. Notice the people that they bring in to work those jobs, and then realize what jobs they give to the native Mozambicans. Don't even work over there. Let them fight over it. Let them live in it. Let them drive through the bull crap that they step in. Let them do it. But see, with that being said, I knew from way back in 2000, from the, you know, wars or whatever, we've been fighting for that long over there in the Middle East. When I seen that the U.S. military, which has no close second, was really an occupying force in the Middle East, I knew for a fact it was a different agenda. I couldn't understand what it was, because nobody could really give us a formidable fight in the world. And so I had to look a little deeper, and I realized it was China. I would have people call in just to confirm, because they don't even remember how intricate I was back then, of course. But I said, this gonna come up, and I want you to think, you know. But I'm gonna explain, you know, for people who ain't caught up with it, you know, why we're going to war with China. I had to get to this point and, you know, to make sense of the situation and realize that your fight is for freedom and against oppression. Your fight ain't for these different situations that get thrown up and cause an emotional uproar between the oligarchs and the carpetbaggers and the super, I was gonna say Google rich, but super rich people. They're not even worried about us. We go one deeper. Civil rights 1964. It wasn't because we wanted rights. We messed up their business. They wasn't worried about your black ass. What's going on over there in Africa right now? They trying to test stuff on Africans, take all their resources, give them to China, but China's starting to stand up against oppression, so they can't do that no more. They never asked a Mozambican about anything. They had one Mozambican sign a little deal in July 2020, but he won't even show his face right now. The only reason the UK is over there right now, and it's not Chinese ships over there right now, because China stood up against America. It was back in the summertime. China decided not to sign some negotiations with America that would subjugate them to a permanent underclass. But this is from China accepting debt from way back. I'm gonna get into all that. But you know what I'm saying? When they did that, that's when the whole world went to hell. They didn't ask your black ass nothing in America. They didn't ask your black ass nothing in the UK. They didn't ask your black ass nothing in Africa. They damn sure didn't ask your black ass nothing anywhere in the world every time the world changed. But when the world changes, it's because of us. The world is changing right now. World War III, whatever you want to call it, it's happening right now. The formulating of it is happening right now because black people are standing up. First in America, then in the UK, then in Africa. But I'm gonna get to my show. See, this how the debt started for us and the Chinese and the sheep's wool that they pulled over our eyes as American citizens. We part of this, but we had no part of this. I'm gonna try to put as much as I can in one show, but this might be a 2-part show. We don't know yet. I'm gonna try to go quick with it. 2010, China had $1 trillion worth of our debt. That's $1 trillion. 2010, China had $1 trillion of our debt. The bailout was in 2008. All right. So check this out. Foreign estimate, that's the actual treasury bonds that we're talking about China has. It's $1 trillion, the treasury bonds. You know what I'm saying? The actual estimate of how much debt that we have with China, foreign estimate, is between $5 and $7 billion. You know, with the interest accruing and us continually borrowing more. But you know, let's take into account what $1 trillion is. Of course, it's 1,000 billions. Of course, to have a billion, you have to have 1,000 millions. So 1 trillion is literally 1,000 people with $1 billion putting all their money together and giving it to one person. That's $1 trillion. $1 trillion is significant because when the world collapsed, $1 trillion saved it. $1 trillion saved the banks that was too big to fail, companies too big to fail, and we just got another basic $1 trillion for the COVID. So every time this world supposed to crash and fall, $1 trillion saves it. Basically, $1 trillion will save your country. That's what we're saying right now. So China has $1 trillion in treasury bonds that we about to find out America, you know, pretty much told them we ain't gonna pay you. And you better not sell it. It's gonna make sense in a second. But they had $1 trillion actual treasury bonds that, you know, accumulate interest. Then they have actual $5.7 billion in real debt. You know, that's like the debt that we gotta pay, American debt that keeps on going up and up and up. That's actual money that they gotta pay. I mean, that we gotta pay them. That keeps on going up and up and up and up. Treasury bonds and actual debt, two different things. But basically, the treasury bond, it can be sold to other people to accumulate the interest off that debt. And the actual debt is pretty much, you know, money that you're supposed to pay back, and you write into your congressional orders that you will pay back. But debt is power. Debt is true power. You know, the weak always borrow money from the strong as far as money goes. So with us borrowing money from China, that tell you something about whose industry is stronger. So with GNP numbers. But China could weaken the dollar, like I say, by selling the treasury bonds that they helped us by buying. They could sell them to other countries. And in essence, the power of our dollar will go to that country that they sell our bond to, because in essence, we will owe them too. That's gonna make sense in a short second. I'm gonna try to keep this short. But basically, if they sold that treasury bond of our debt to somebody else, it will weaken our dollar, and the energy from our dollar will go to that country because we will owe that country. And in essence, that country will be able to build up as we still accumulate debt by interest with the new country still owing China, making it two people that we owe instead of just one. So China has a lot of power over us by us actually doing business with China in our worst times. But it's gonna make sense in a second. America cold-blooded. 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 It was Chinese honor and African pride that has put America on the spotlight right now. Nothing African about Chinese. I'm talking about just their honor code. And basically, with this situation going on, worst case scenario, before people get scared and all that shit like that, do something crazy, America can't fail because we strongest at our weakest. This is a money game. People with money protected. We got the most money and we got the most protection. So, you know, the worst case scenario is the doomsday bomb. Y'all look that up. That'll never happen. So nuclear fallout from a nuclear war, that's a possibility, but that'll never happen. War for 20 years, 50 years, 100 years. We already at 20 years. I don't see us fight. I don't see us as a world population to stop fighting before I die. I'm gonna be 115 years old when I die. But if you spin the globe right now and you stop it from spinning with your finger, right under your finger or right next to it, that part of the world is actually fighting over resources. So, and they gonna stop no time soon. I'm gonna keep going. I want y'all to keep in mind that I'm just gonna use Enron and the bank bailouts, the collapse of our economy. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna use that as a marker, a time marker. Enron was like almost a start, middle or end of it, however you want to look at it. You know what I'm saying? As far as no prosecutions and the recession, and then Barack bringing us back up. Barack is a figurehead. I mean, America recuperated. But in 2001, Enron had a little fallout thing like that. A whole bunch of people lost a lot of real money and stuff like that. People that leaned on their money realized they didn't have nothing. So I bring Enron up as far as the beginning of our recession because at that point, China had some of our debt, but they didn't have all as much debt as we accumulated with them by that time. They had some, because our debt is actually expensive. That game they play with the credit cards is real, and everybody in the world believes it because it's actually real. The power of our dollar can be traded, whether our dollar is good or bad, because it's most likely better than the rest of the world's, if everybody else plays the game. But in 2001 to 2008, from 2001 to 2008, we was trying to convince or find a country to purchase our debt. Now, there's nothing wrong with that because we're trying to keep our nose above water, our head above water. I mean, who cares? As long as your nose above water, because your mouth above water, you're straight. Standing on dry land, you're good. Your nose get above your water, you out of here. Start looking at God because you're about to see him. Looking for God because you're about to see him. But I say all that to say that in 2008, in 2001, we was looking for somebody to purchase our debt because a recession was coming imminently, but we didn't know it. The money market people knew it. 2008, China's the largest owner of our debt. And that's in September 2008. China's the largest owner of our debt. But keep in mind, in October 2008, that's when the banks got bailed out. So as a courtesy to us, they borrowed money from China and then raised, through inflation, raised prices on us here in America. I mean, once you sign it in Congress, that's law. You can't say nothing against it, so I can't be mad at that, right? I mean, I voted or didn't vote, but I'm an American citizen, so what the policy is, what the law is, that's what goes. Not so much policy, but an executive order is a policy. So that's why I say that. But hold up, wait. We said 01 to 08 was a recession. Basically everything going down, housing bubble and all that stuff, banks and stuff like that, everything. AIG still here, changed their name and came back. Banks got taken care of, all the big businesses got taken care of. Budweiser went to the Germans, but we ain't even talking about that right now. But in 08, we got a bailout. We got the money from Germany. I mean, money from China. China bailed us out. Everybody know that. So why am I even saying that? Because, what does it say? Bill Clinton, we had a surplus. Not a deficit, a surplus. Bill Clinton, we had a surplus. 97, 01, he kept on making the economy better through industry. 01, recession. He get out of office January 21st. So in 01, we already had a recession. And how is that possible? 4 years of productive, prolific growth, and then we have straight to a recession. It's the secret. I ain't gonna say the secret yet. I'm just gonna say it like this here. When the recession happened, everybody lost money. Everybody, even in the stock market. If you weren't truly wealthy by blood, you lost money in the stock market. But watch this, hold up, wait. All the billionaires recouped and quadrupled, septupled their fortunes quickly after the recession, before the bailout. So not so secretly, they took all the money from the surplus and put it in the rich people's pocket, then borrowed money from China and then made us pay for it. And cold-blooded, man. You want to know where the surplus went from Clinton's administration? The rich people stole it. Cold-blooded. Now let's get to why I say that. Prior to Bill Clinton, the presidency, the POTUS, was a highly desired job, highly respected job. Very highly respected job. Career politicians salivated at the opportunity to even think about being vice president. So they kept all their ducks in a row for 30, 40, 50 years for just a sniff at the president's chair, basically. Since then, it wasn't the same, and I'm about to prove it. Basically, the first example I'm gonna give you is George W. Bush. He came in and signed all the executive orders and threw away the Constitution and did whatever he wanted as president. Our president, your president, and mine. Sorry, with a D. Respect to with a D. My ID say Texas. Texas part of the country. He my president. So, but social media, comedians, blogs, newspapers back then, word of mouth, everybody bashed George W. Bush. The history books don't even bring him up like it wasn't 20 years ago because they got to be rude to him too. He was a figurehead. Before Bush, Republican and Democrat, was a forked tongue. After Bush, Republican and Democrat, it's obviously the same thing. But they were so rude and harsh to public opinion. The history books, historians, not what my black ass think. What they say in shade trees, what they say in barbershops, on up to Congress Hill. You know, that's who's gonna. That you know, that was cold. We saw the bullshit with George W. But and the proof to that is since George W. Bush was in office, all due disrespect to every last one of you sorry sons of sonsers. Since George W. Bush was in office, we have had nothing but a clown car of fucking rejects running for political office. That's all and that's it. And if you one good apple in a bad bunch, you bad for even being in that bunch. Just period. Your good gonna come out because you most likely got out of politics. And let me prove that. Like I say, it was a highly desired political position, you know, being the best, you know, being the POTUS, President of the United States. Paul Ryan was the youngest Speaker of the House ever. And he quit. He quit for them to even rationalize you becoming the youngest Speaker of the House. You might pull up, I think it was Pope, the only Speaker of the House to become president. It's not really like a shoo-in to be president, but it happened before. But for them to put you in as that, basically saying that you will have the candidacy if you keep on playing your cards right. But Paul Ryan read something or saw something and got the hell out of politics, man. And every successful man, woman, child, beast, boy, whatever, knows that you don't have as much time as you want with your family because you'll go out being successful. Paul Ryan, by 35, 34 years old, was already a career politician. He didn't know his family. And the only reason I said that is because the excuse he gave is he gonna give up politics. Youngest Speaker of the House ever. I mean, Speaker of the House don't mean nothing. You see Boehner with Barack, I mean, it was almost a forced end. But like I said, it was nothing but a clown car rejects after the George W. Bush administration. That was stolen by his brother in Florida. Well, excuse me, allegedly stolen by his brother in Florida. They had a recount in the 2000 election, I think in 9-2, whatever it was. Forgot. Man, George W. Bush first election, they had a recount, and his brother in Florida state came up as the state that desired or break the straw. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole bunch of stuff going on. People learn more about this generation learn more about the electoral college than they ever wanted us to know, but the bullshit hit the fan. Yeah, so basically by him saying that he wanted to be with his family, that let me call more bullshit. Because politicians, they love their family. I'm gonna leave it at that. I ain't gonna say nothing bad about politicians' families. But basically they don't like spending time with their family because they can't. They don't have that much time. If they love spending time with their family, it's always a little bit less than being a politician, is my point. And that revelation didn't come to Paul Ryan until he saw something or read something he wasn't supposed to see or read and got the hell out of there. Basically, since George W. Bush, America's been broke because they were stealing the cream off the top, the surplus. They realized surplus didn't help them much, it helped us. And you know how much politicians like to help the little guy. So government abandoned the Constitution for policy, which is the executive orders that everybody loves if you rich and hate if you black or poor. And the bottom line was we broke. We doing all this to hide indigence, that's it. We made a deal with the Chinese and we couldn't break the deal at the beginning. So, you know, we tried to acquiesce a little bit, but I think recently China has actually called for that debt to be paid. And since it wasn't paid, we're going through all this malarkey that's going on right now in the world. It's crazy. And, you know, if I say China called on their debt, I mean, you know, by trying to sell some of their debt, which they wasn't supposed to do. America already solidified to them. Our debt we're selling to you is not to be sold to nobody else. The only reason our debt is worth money is because it could be sold to other people. But we're telling you in this negotiations not to sell any of our debt. Well, China sold about $8 billion worth of our debt, not the bullshit debt that we got to pay in America. You know, like that ticker tape in Times Square. That's personal debt. That's what we promise to pay to ourselves. Debt to other people hurts us more than anything else because it can't be traded or traded twice and hurt us. So by them actually selling $8 billion worth of our debt, they kind of reneged on their side of the policy in our eyes. It's like me saying you can wear my jacket for $5 or you can wear my jacket for $1 trillion, but you better not wear it. Cold, man, cold. But yeah, since 2001, since we started taking money from China, stuff like that, you know, actually really taking a lot of money from China. Because remember, they took our surplus from the American politicians and billionaires, took our surplus from Clinton, put it in their pockets, said we was poor by actually borrowing money from China. So the money that they took from us, they replaced it with borrowed money from China and then expect us to pay for it. That's why all the billionaires' salaries have been going up. That's why politicians suck and are stupid and don't even want to run because they got to be a part of this bullshit and they don't want to be. But I see the ticker tape running low, so I'm going to have to make this a 2-part, but it's going to be good. I wish I could put it all in one, but it'll be too long, too many cliff notes. Man, somebody taking notes might get tired. I want y'all to actually realize what I'm saying and research it. And collectivize y'all thoughts and realize what's going on. Ain't no game. This ain't no joke. This ain't no joke. This is not no joke. And black people crazy enough to try to sign off on some reparations bill before all this happened. It has a finite remuneration. Y'all stupid. Y'all dumb. T.I., you was talking about $1 million for every black person. That's silly. That's stupid. That's dumb. Let me take your most profitable venture in the entertainment, because he's all around entertainer. All due respect in his entertainment. But I think you crossed your lane right there. When you was talking about perpetuity, a perpetual payout by the Lords of London, you was more on track. When you was talking about $1 million for each black person, man, let somebody else talk because you don't know what the hell you talking about, black man. All due respect. And I ain't got the heart to beat you up. I probably can't beat you up because you got too much heart is my point. don't want to fight you. But I would have a debate on your show, my show. It don't matter. I'd rather you come to my show. You have to come to the spot though. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this show pretty much gonna have to make a part 2. But it's hard not to be caught up in this because you in this. Whoever wins this war that's about to happen don't have nothing to do with black people, because you wasn't about to profit from it and you can only lose from it. Not me. I'm saying you gotta fight for America. I'm saying that if somebody tries to fight you. Right now, where they fighting over the lines in the sand, which your black ass ain't got nothing to do with. Right now, where they fighting about who goes here and there, which your black ass ain't got nothing to do with. Right now, where they fighting about who gets these natural resources and who gets to make their children wealthy for generations to come. They don't have nothing to do with your black ass, because they ain't asked you, because you ain't got nothing to do with it. Why they start talking about old money and redefining understanding in life, like when they say we have a coin shortage in America. Now they actually taking the actual metal or any resources we have in America and melting it down and giving it to somebody or paying that debt with China. But they didn't ask your black ass anything to do about it. So when they bring up coin shortage as a reason for us to go to war, don't do it. When they bring up gas prices as a reason for us to go to war, don't do it. When they bring up food shortages as a reason to go to war, then it's time to fight, because they fucking with you. But until then, you have to realize you got to grow your own food, like everybody been saying all that time. But the main reason this is going on right now, because America got mad at coons. Britain got mad at coons. France got mad at coons. And finally, after Tariq Nasheed lit a fire up under Africa, Africa got mad at coons. What's going on in Mozambique right now could never go on. Not today. Because Tariq Nasheed called out what's a coon.